Seek forgiveness from those that you can or those that you've wronged. And if you can't, then forgive yourself and move on. It's really on positive affirmations, and that's just what you were talking about. Every client I deal with, I talk about positive affirmations. Positive affirmations. Put it on a little card. Whatever it is you're trying to change in your life, put it on a little card. Put it on the bathroom mirror. Put it in your wallet. But say it 7 times a day. 7 times each time you say it. What you're doing is you're creating a positive way to look at your life. Like the gratitudes to my clients. Things were always there. They just didn't think of it that way. So an affirmation brings it to the forefront of your mind. Making changes. And all these things are going to make changes. They're going to get rid of the clutter, and you're going to move on with your life. You're going to make changes. Now, there's 2 systems in our brain, they tell us. You've got the emotional side and the rational side. I have a tendency to go with the emotional side a little more, and I think some of us do. But some of us are very rational. But the idea is the emotional side is instinctive and feels pleasure and pain. And I much prefer the pleasure side, so I think that's part of why I'm emotional. Rational deliberates and plans. Sometimes plans and plans and plans and plans. But there are 2 sides, and you need both sides in order to make changes in your life. So I have to stop and be rational, but I can still have that other side to me. So if you want to make changes, don't be generalized, be specific. And I use the weight thing here. The generalized statement is, you want to lose weight. Don't say I want to lose weight. Say I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to walk. I'm going to walk 2 blocks this week and 3 blocks next week and 4 blocks the next week. Be specific because you're giving yourself a goal. It keeps you motivated. Think small steps. Like I said, you're going to walk 2 blocks. You're not going to start out saying, I'm going to walk 4 miles today. You know what's going to happen? You may do it, although I know I couldn't do it. But you may do it, but you're going to be darn tired and sore, and day 2, you're not going to do it. So baby steps. We learned to ride a bike. Again, it was slow in the beginning. And clear your environment. You don't need the negative chatter of other people. I also always tell my clients, if they're thinking of making a change in their life, I said, don't advertise it. If there's somebody who you feel particularly close to and they will be encouraging, tell them. But there are a lot of people out there that think they know what's good for you. They think they know it, but the point is it's good for them, but it may not be good for you. And they think they're helping you by saying, you can't do that. Do you realize how hard that's going to be? We don't need all that. So share it with a few people who will encourage you, not discourage you. The 4 Agreements. This is my Bible. I have to tell you, and if you've never read it, it is something that a book you should look at. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. He talks about domestication and acceptance. First time I heard domestication, I thought it was the animals. But the reality is, no, he says we have been domesticated. Because we have to live in this world and we're living by rules. But stop and think how many of those rules that you're living with now are somebody else's rules. How many of the rules that you're living by now you might have needed 20 years ago that you don't need now. But because of habit, or because of fear, because you don't want to rock the boat, that you're still there. So remember that. Now, here are the 4 agreements. Be authentic. How many plastic people do we know? There are so many people out there that you walk into a room and you start talking to them and you know that they're not really there. They'll say one thing to you, but they don't mean it. Those are plastic people. So the first thing is be authentic, be real. And I have to tell you, that's the one thing that people tell me about my presentations. There are a lot of more polished speakers out there. They're truthfully, and I know that. But I have a tendency to speak from the heart, so I'm real. And that's very, very important to me. The more real you can be, the better you're going to be, the happier you're going to be, and the more friends who are going to want to be around you. And we're not meant to live on an island. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. You know, we have a tendency sometimes to tell ourselves stories. It's easier. But be honest with yourself. Be the best you that you can be. Now, to me, this is the most important one. Because we beat ourselves up. We beat ourselves up all the time. You know, I should have, could have, would have. Well, you know, the reality is, do your best every day. Now, do the best you can do today. What happens is, tomorrow, maybe our best isn't the same as it was yesterday. But if you did your best, that's all you can expect to get. But we put the bar so high that sometimes it's hard to hit it. And we think of ourselves as failures because we haven't hit it. Your best will change every day. Maybe you don't feel as good. Maybe something else is happening in your life. Maybe the weather affects it. Maybe other people affect it. So just do the best that you can do for that day and forgive yourself and move on. There's always another chance. You know, it's not one of those things that you go out the door, it locks, and you can't do it again. You can do it again. And be non-judgmental. I just had this conversation earlier this morning with someone. And she said, I'm not judging. No, you're observing. Now, being non-judgmental just means that you're not thinking the worst about people. Now, there are observations you make. I mean, you see someone that weighs 300 pounds. You can observe, my God, she's heavy. That's an observation. Or you can say, my God, is she fat? What does she eat? Does she go to McDonald's all the time? Or what does she do? There's a difference there, right? You're observing she's heavy. Okay. But there is a difference to being non-judgmental. And the more that you're non-judgmental about others, the more you're going to be non-judgmental about yourselves. Now, you have the option to clear of that emotional clutter. That doesn't mean you're going to walk out the door today and say, yay, the emotional clutter is gone. But I've given you some hints on how to change it, how to work with it.